Stop. Right now. Think of one thing in your life that's draining you. Just one. Got it? Good. Because by the end of this video, you're going to have not just permission, but the philosophical backing from some of history's wisest minds to cut out completely. You know what the hardest part of healing is? It's not learning what to add to your life. It's finding the courage to cut away what's been quietly destroying you. The ancient Stoics understood something most of us spend our whole lives learning the hard way. Freedom isn't about getting more. It's about letting go of what's crushing you. Marcus Aurelius had everything: absolute power, unlimited wealth, an entire empire at his command. And still, he sat alone at night, writing to himself. Very little is needed to make a happy life. It is all within yourself, in your way of thinking. Think about that for a second. The most powerful man in the world, reminding himself that happiness was an inside job. And here we are, still carrying grudges from 3 years ago, still checking our phones for validation from people we don't even like, still dragging around relationships that stopped feeding us a long time ago. Look, maybe you've been feeling it. That weight, that voice saying something needs to change. You're tired of the noise, tired of pretending. So let's talk about what actually needs to go. 6 things, not small things, the big ones. The ones you've been avoiding because letting go feels like giving up. It's not. It's waking up. 1. The opinions of people who don't walk your path. You've been carrying their voices around like they matter. The doubters. The ones who love reminding you of who you used to be. The family member who still treats you like you're 17. The friend who can't quite celebrate your wins. The colleague who questions every new direction you take. And you've been listening, adjusting, shrinking, explaining yourself. Epictetus, a man who was literally a slave before becoming one of history's greatest philosophers, said something that will either set you free or piss you off. If you want to improve, be content to be thought foolish and stupid. Be content with it. That's the part that hits different. Because the version of you that's trying to emerge won't make sense to people who knew the old you. And they'll have opinions about that. Strong ones, loud ones. They'll tell you you're changing, that you're not yourself anymore, that you're making a mistake. And they'll say it with such confidence that you'll start to doubt yourself. You'll wonder if they're right, if maybe you should slow down. Play it safe. Stay recognizable. But here's what they're not telling you. What they can't tell you because they don't know it themselves. Growth always looks like rebellion to people who've stopped growing. Your evolution threatens their stagnation. Your courage highlights their fear. Your willingness to be misunderstood makes them uncomfortable with their need to be accepted. Let them be uncomfortable. That's not your responsibility. You don't owe anyone an explanation for your evolution. You don't owe them a detailed defense of your choices. You don't owe them familiarity. This year, the only person you need to make sense to is yourself. Stop performing for an audience that isn't even paying attention. Most of the people whose opinions you're worried about aren't thinking about you nearly as much as you think they are. They're worried about their own lives, their own problems, their own audiences. Once you stop living for their approval, something miraculous happens. You notice how little time you actually have left. 2. The illusion that you have endless time. We all do this. We act like we can start that thing next month. Have that conversation next year. Fix that relationship when we're ready. We treat time like it's infinite, like there will always be another chance, another tomorrow, another season. Seneca watched people waste entire lifetimes waiting for the right time, and he didn't hold back. It is not that we have short time to live, but that we waste a lot of it. Read that again. We waste a lot of it. The things you've been putting off, the person you need to forgive, maybe yourself. the dream that scares you, the boundary you should have set months ago, the conversation that needs to happen, the trip you keep planning but never taking, the creative project collecting dust in your mind. You're treating all of it like it can wait, like you have forever, but you don't. None of us do. What if you treated this year like it actually matters? Not in a panicked, anxiety-driven way, in a this is real way, in a my life is happening right now, not someday way. Because time doesn't wait. It doesn't care about your fear or your readiness or your perfect conditions. It just moves. And you've been giving your days away to things that don't deserve them. Stop waiting for someday. Someday is expensive. Someday costs you everything you could have been doing, experiencing, becoming right now. The Stoics practiced memento mori. Remember you will die. Not to be morbid, but to be awake. To remember that this moment, this day, this year, it's not a dress rehearsal. This is it. This is your life, happening right now. 3. Relationships that require you to shrink. You know exactly who I'm talking about. The ones where you dim your light so they don't feel insecure. The ones who can't be genuinely happy for you. The ones who need you stuck to feel superior. Maybe it's the friend who always makes it about them. You share good news, and within 60 seconds, the conversation has shifted back to their problems. You've learned to celebrate your wins quietly because sharing them feels like a burden. Maybe it's the partner who loved who you were but can't handle who you're becoming. They fell for your potential but resent your actualization. Maybe it's the family member who keeps you locked in the role you've outgrown. You're 40 years old, but they still talk to you like you're a child who doesn't know any better. Marcus Aurelius wrote this for himself in his private journal, but it's for you too. Waste no more time arguing about what a good person should be. Be one. And being good to yourself means not apologizing for outgrowing people. It means refusing to stay small so someone else feels big. It means honoring your growth even when it costs your relationships. This isn't about cutting people off with cruelty. It's not about burning bridges or making dramatic exits. It's about honoring your evolution. Some people are meant to be in your story forever. Others are just chapters. Beautiful, important chapters, but chapters nonetheless. And that's okay. You're allowed to outgrow people. You're allowed to evolve past relationships that once fit but no longer do. You're allowed to love people from a distance when loving them up close costs you yourself. The relationship that requires you to be less than you isn't the relationship you need. No matter how long it's lasted, no matter how much history you share, no matter how guilty you feel, your growth is not a betrayal. It's your birthright. 4. The need to control what you cannot change. How much energy have you burned trying to change someone who doesn't want to change? Trying to force an outcome that was never yours to force. Trying to make people see you the way you need to be seen. Trying to control how things turn out. Epictetus gave us the blueprint for sanity. Make the best use of what is in your power and take the rest as it happens. Your power, your choices, your attitude, your effort, your character, your response. That's it. That's all you get. Everything else, their opinions, their decisions, whether they stay or go, whether they understand you, whether life is fair, that's not yours. It never was. And you've been exhausting yourself trying to control things you were never meant to hold. The person who won't change no matter how much you love them. The outcome you've been white-knuckling into existence. The opinion someone formed that you can't seem to shift. The past you keep trying to rewrite. The future you're trying to guarantee. Let it go. Seriously. Not because you're giving up. Not because you don't care. But because you're finally focusing on what you can actually shape. Yourself. That's where your real power lies. Not in controlling external circumstances, not in managing other people's choices, but in mastering your own response to what life brings. When you release your grip on what you cannot control, you'll have both hands free to build what you can. 5. The stories you tell yourself about who you are. There's a story you've been telling yourself for years. Maybe it sounds like, I'm not enough. I always mess things up. People always leave. I'm too damaged. I'm too late. I'm not the kind of person who gets what they want. I'm not smart enough, talented enough, worthy enough. You've repeated it so many times it feels like truth, like fact, like the fundamental nature of who you are. But here's what the Stoics knew. You are not your worst moment. You're not your past. You're not the voice in your head that tears you down. Seneca put it perfectly. We suffer more often in imagination than in reality. Most of your pain isn't coming from what's actually happening. It's coming from the story you're telling about what's happening. It's coming from the narrative you've constructed about who you are and what you deserve. And that story? It's not the truth. It's just familiar. It's just what you've been repeating since you were too young to know you had a choice. What if you let that old story go? What if you stopped introducing yourself by your wounds? What if you gave yourself permission to be someone new? Not perfect, not healed overnight, not without scars, just different, evolving, free. Here's how you start. Take one story you tell about yourself. I'm not enough. Now complete this sentence. I used to believe I'm not enough, but now I'm discovering that. Don't force it. Don't make it profound. Just notice what wants to come through. That's your new story trying to emerge. You get to rewrite this. The Stoics believe that our opinions, not the events themselves, cause our suffering. You can't change what happened, but you can change what it means. You can change the story you tell about it. You're not your past. You're what you do with it. 6. The belief that peace is something you find. You've been searching for the right relationship, the right career, the right city, the right life, thinking that once you get there, you'll finally feel okay, finally feel settled, finally feel at peace. But Marcus Aurelius, Emperor of Rome, the man who literally had access to everything the world could offer, kept reminding himself, very little is needed to make a happy life. It is all within yourself, in your way of thinking. Peace was never out there. It was never in someone else's approval. It was never in some future version of your life where everything finally aligns perfectly. It's here, right now, in how you think, in what you choose to focus on, in what you decide matters. Peace isn't a place you arrive at. It's a practice. It's choosing over and over to come back to the present, to accept what is while working toward what could be, to release what you cannot control, to honor who you're becoming. Here's what nobody tells you. Sometimes the reason you can't find peace isn't because you're looking in the wrong places. It's because you're afraid of what you'll have to face when you stop running. Peace isn't always comfortable. Sometimes it's a mirror showing you exactly what needs to change. And that's why people avoid it. They'd rather stay busy, stay distracted, stay searching than sit still long enough to see the truth. But you're ready. That's why you're here. Stop searching for peace like it's a destination. Start creating it like it's a practice. It's been inside you the whole time, waiting for you to stop running and come home to yourself. The Stoics didn't promise you easy. They promised you real. They didn't offer comfort. They offered truth. And the truth is this: you already know what needs to go. You've known for a while. The opinions that aren't serving you, the time you're wasting, the relationships that require you to shrink, the control you can't have, the stories that keep you small, the belief that peace is somewhere else. You know, so let it go. Not perfectly, not all at once, not with some grand dramatic gesture. Just honestly, just today, just one thing. Because the version of you waiting on the other side, the one who's free from all this weight, that person is worth fighting for. That person is who you actually are underneath all the noise, underneath all the performing, underneath all the fear. And they're ready. They've been ready. They're just waiting for you to make the cut. If this reached you, if you felt that weight lift even a little, I need you to do something. In the comments, write just one word. The thing you're cutting from your life in 2026. Just one word. Opinions. Time wasting. Control. Their name. Your limiting story. One word. Because naming it is the first step to releasing it. Subscribe if you're ready to keep walking this path. No fluff. Just truth. I'll see you in the next one.